There's a blue dot that's bouncing around the screen. It is showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. This might actually even be an upgrade from when you got your data back. So again, I kind of update everything every 6 months just to kind of keep fresh on things. And this is actually ready to be updated again. We're getting ready to put this onto an iPad, so it's nice and big. But anyway, the blue dot is going to show you the coldest spot in the frame. That's there to help guide your eye so that way you know where you're looking. It is 83 degrees out here for us tonight, so I look for 15 plus degree temperature drops. So I'm going to be looking for, what is that, 72 and below? Am I right? No. What am I thinking of? So 83, so 60, 67. 67 degrees and below is basically what I'm looking for out of that blue dot. Sorry, I had to do quick math. English writer guy, not a math guy. But 67 degrees and colder. But again, I'm also looking at all of the blue anomalies that are going to be in there. We're always going to have blue in there. So kind of keep that in mind when you guys get your video back. It's going to be glass from cars and so forth and so on, especially since we're going to try to keep somebody in view at all times. So, Kira, just because you're so... There's no electricity. The average spike for this location is between 18 to 22. We'll see something in between those two numbers, and it'll drop back down to below 2.5. Your microwave that runs on high is about 150 to 170. The highest we've ever seen that device go in my 11 years of ghost hunting has been in this location, 214 milligrams. Wow. That's like putting your head inside the running microwave. We left very quickly. Right. I'm the guy with epilepsy. I'm not playing with that much electricity in the air when I have a neurological disorder. So again, you guys getting my point. If I say we gotta go, we gotta go. Yeah. That's why he's the safety director. He's keeping me in check. So that's kind of makes sense. So we've already gotten to 43. So your new baseline is going to be, I'm going to say 40 at this point. 74 now. It just keeps going up and up and up. We're in a place with no electricity. None of the parking meters, none of the wires around us are even close enough to make...
Maybe I'm a lightning rod.
Maybe.
Yeah, my name. Yeah, but
yeah. So you don't want something that's super steady either. So you get like a 50 to 70, 50 to 70. That's something that that 39 is fast. I'm pretty sure you guys wondering how functional it is. One of the electrical ones. If that makes sense. Normally I don't get like a kind of just passing by and not a 39. So kind of a reminder with all of the video cameras, we're in a space where there's vehicles, obviously. So we don't want to be filming cars and people walking through here. A lot of people will be passing through. So where the hell are we? We are in a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. So that's kind of our first space. This used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston, which is why we're here. When we do spread out, you're just going to stay away from the vehicles, especially going in between vehicles. So that's a big deal for these people around here, especially with the cameras. So this used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with the Five Church restaurant over there and came all the way across to where we're standing right here. And then the servant and slave quarters were in the back. So, who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for the secondary clues. So in case the name Charles is heard, I need to know which one it was. That way we look for this clue and kind of verify that it was one specific Charles over another. Hopefully you guys got the point of that. But anyway, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than everybody here. We're going to move on. If I don't bring it up, they get very angry with me and will tell us through a spirit box that they want their recognition. That's the only reason why I do that every night. However, we're going to talk about Eliza, a much cooler story. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. For those of you with communication devices, thank God it didn't happen.
What?
If you're going to ask Eliza how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers like 12 and 14 from the colonial days that she came from. Think of today's standards. The reason why is because her husband was over double her age when they married. So a creepy age gap back then, a creepy age gap now. Now, with that said, Eliza married her husband because her father was over in England where she's from. And he, the father, thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see them. Well, Eliza didn't believe he was dying. Instead, she got married and stayed put. In 1744, you do not get married in that specific year to get a green card. We're not even a country yet. So she didn't marry him out of love. Do not poke the bear at this location. You will piss her off. I'm just going to point that out right now. Location. This particular location, I was just telling Buck before everybody arrived, I was looking to retire because we were getting very disrespectful people on my tours, and I actually had to give this space a little bit of a break just because we were getting very nasty messages that were not radio chatter coming through, if you guys are getting my point.
Right.
So be very respectful while we're here. But anyway, back to Eliza. She was right. Her father didn't die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where we're standing right now. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seed of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes her blue jeans blue. That's what we use it for today. When Eliza got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with it. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated because it's not always hot here, and then had to learn how to make the dye. When she did that, she moved it to a cash crop just south of here, and then got a hold of her dad overseas and said, rice plantations are going downhill, we're going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. This is something absolutely unheard of. Now, that's the boring business shit of Eliza. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here, right? So each set of communication devices, I am going to give you a series of questions to focus on. So again, you can speak them out loud, you can focus on them mentally, however you're comfortable doing it. That's normally how this works. Keep in mind, if you have a communication device, any of them, if you're not getting a direct answer, do not get disgruntled. This is why you like to use so many. You might ask a question, but you might get the answer. That's how this works. That's why I like to bounce around with a round robin with everybody. So, which way do I want to go? I'm going to start with Buck. So obviously your particular device is only going to give us 1 to 2 syllable answers. So when we get it unmuted, you're going to go after what happened to the mansion, and then when did that happen? If we get the what, we will normally get 2 or 3 numbers out of the year, like the specific date of when that tragedy occurs. So again, you might get the what and or the when that comes out of that. You can also go after the marriage, like how old she was or how old Charles was when they got married. So that's an easy one for you too. So with yours, Lindsay, how do I want to do this? I think we're still too close to that date. I want to stay clear of it. So I'm actually going to give the 2 of you the same set of questions because you're using the same device. We're staying clear of one set of questions simply because we're too close to a tragic date of the family, and I don't want to poke the bear. So you guys are going to get Eliza's death. So what happened to her? Basically, how did she die? How old she was when she died? Where she's buried? What president was a pallbearer at her funeral? So those are 4 major questions that we commonly get the answers to. If you decide to go rogue, just make sure it's not a yes/no question and it's nothing way too personal, if that makes sense. Yep. So don't ask about something like was their marriage, gone astray or anything like that. You're going to really piss her off. Just don't do it. Also, don't ask about the children. Just stay clear of the children altogether. That's the tragedy that I'm trying to stay away from. Christine, with yours, a couple of things. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. It's a really jerk move if you really think about it. Oh, wow, we got dust bunnies coming through here. Look at the size of that dust cloud. Kind of crazy. It's not a ghost, everybody. It's a good thing you're not filming over that way, Kim. We would all be like, there's a ghost. But anyway, with your device, hopefully, the Eliza that we're dealing with, both of them, ironically, have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Try to figure out which Eliza we have here by asking for her maiden name, and it's going to hopefully be an L name. On your Ouija board device, we're going to be looking for the full initials of ELP in that order. We have had other terms show up here, but I want to see if they just show up on their own. It'll kind of give me a clue if there's somebody else here or not, based on what's coming up on the Ouija board device. So, if you haven't already started your video recordings, by all means do so. I think you've been running this whole time. So she's like, yep, I'm down. You really don't say much, do you? No, didn't think so. You haven't said a peep beside your own name since we got here. So we are going to spread out. I do 1 full round robin at this location. Again, just 1, just because we're going to keep it brief. That's kind of my promise to Eliza. And again, that's a whole other saga that I'll get into much, much later of why we keep this. So have we gotten any other numbers, by the way, Rod?
Yeah, like 43.9.
I think that was the last one that I wrote down, actually. All right, everybody, let's spread out. I am going to keep Christine behind so I can show her how to use that Ouija board device a little bit further.
I gotta keep someone in my sight though. Well, I guess I'll keep her. Hit me with your best shot.
You're not supposed to.
I like that though. Yeah, I'll keep you in my vision. think you're supposed to ask it questions.
What?
You have to ask it questions.
He said you could do it in your head.
Oh, you can?
That's what he said.
Oh.
However you want to do it.
Oh.
How old were you when you died?
29? I don't know how I'm not supposed to get a car.
I heard Abraham.
What?
I heard Abraham. Didn't you say something about a president?
Yeah, I think so.
It's so weird, but that's not the right answer. Somebody else has heard that answer at this location in the past, and it's completely wrong. It's way too. That's way too more recent for the time frame that we're talking.
but I heard it. Because I was like, I literally was like, I don't remember the president, but that's not a president. It was Abraham. I was like, okay.
Yeah, there was a president that was a pallbearer.
Okay, that's what I was like, President Palmer. I was like, okay. Oh, it's that cell and replacement. That's weird. Did you hear him?
No, I said that. Oh, someone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that. I don't know. That girl was like looking at me weird. Like, are you good? Like the girl.
Yes.
Like I was filming you. Like she was like, "Are you good?" What? It's like okay.
Okay, your infrared on them.
She said she heard a sentence that said I can't. She said she heard a full sentence that said I can't think of anything.
Well, that was nearly what did he say?
Yeah.
I literally heard that.
One.
I heard that too.
Couldn't understand. I've been getting little blurbs like that. I'm not sure whether it's a DJ or
Yeah.
like you're hearing something.
No, I'm listening.
What?
I heard like, never leave me, thank you, or something.
I would tell him.
I heard like, never leave me, thank you.
I forgot to write down the things from over there. So, what did he say?
I thought I heard something about 19, but not positive.
usually your first instinct.
Yeah.
So like, don't second guess yourself. Let it happen. So again, that's why, because you don't know what everybody else is asking. Or you kind of do, but you don't. At least at that point in time, in real time. So even if you hear something silly like the number 19, and you're like, I don't know what that means. You know, somebody else could be asking for something like, hey, when did you actually meet Charles?
Right.
That kind of thing. So that's kind of the mentality behind this. Like when you guys hear something silly like that, you don't know what I know. I'm not telling you everything.
Right.
That's the whole point. Have some fun with it. What do we got now?
Yes. Initials. Lindsay heard, I can't think of anything. And then I got confusion.
So it's almost like you guys are having a conversation. So that's more of a personal experience. Unfortunately, I don't write that kind of stuff down because that's personal to you guys. I can't verify that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's the reason why, like, unless it's a data or like a fact,
Yeah, a data point where you can actually verify
like,
something.
hey, Britannica said this, or you know that website said that.
Yeah.
This is more conversational between you and Miss Eliza.
Just thought it was funny we got corresponding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Responses.
That's, like, believe it or not, lately over the past few months, that's how things have been going in this location. Interesting. Oh, that would be really cool. I'm just trying to piece your key thing together. I'm waiting for something else to kind of verify what it actually means. So, again, a lot of times they're like, oh, that's vague, let's wait for something else.
Yeah.
You know, the key thing would make sense if something else pops up.
I feel
Then I'm
great.
like, here's why you got the whole key.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, share them. Have fun with it.
I thought I heard I feel great. Hit me with your best shot did come through before. It did.
Okay.
Do the songs ever like the actual song itself like the just
I want to
like,
know the lyric.
Okay,
I don't care
right.
who sang it. I don't care what the name of the song is. I want to know the
as
lyric
long
you
as
heard.
You both. Did you hear that?
I heard as low
as low as you both. I thought as long as you both.
Again, it's
It's
about the
true,
lyric. It's
yeah.
not about that you heard Stairway to Heaven. It's about she's buying her. That's what I want to know. And I don't care that it was Led Zeppelin either. Most people want to tell me that they heard Harry Styles. I'm like, I don't give a shit that you heard Harry Styles.
I figured that didn't matter, but I
Yeah.
didn't know if it.
A lot of people try to stretch it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're talking to a Henry. Maybe he went by Harry. I'm like, no, that's not how this goes.
Okay.
Rod, any other numbers I need to know? Nope.
Sometimes it gets loud.
It was.
What does it matter to you? Also, this is like fully right. You don't know my friend. I know.
Just wait to it.
Dolly.
I thought while I was here, I caught something. They didn't make it.
Have you?
I went back.
I heard I love you. I love you. Did you hear Mary? Relationship. Ah! Did you hear yes? No.
That is a that's what it's trying to do.
That's a question.
It's like human from rain. If you look at a cloud, it tries to make a face out of it. You see a face. You might see it, I might not, but that makes sense.
How old were you when you died?
right after 25 cents.
I didn't hear that, but I heard 20. But they use, I think 25.
How old was she?
I don't know. He's not telling us that on purpose.
I heard like right after 25 cents.
26.
Oh, I had 26 again. Did you?
Yeah, just 26.
What did you ask?
I said, how old are you when you died?
And then we heard,
Right after 25 cents,
and then
I heard.
like 26, and then I heard 26 in my ear. Also heard relationship and marry.
And Mary could be that you married somebody, or it could be the name Mary.
Right.
So that could kind of go either way. And no, 26 is not the right answer of when she got married.
Dang.
Or else
I
I
asked
would've
when
been-
she died.
Yeah, but
Okay.
she could have just grabbed the 26 if that was the age of when she got married, just to let you know, like, hey, 'cause
yeah.
I'm here 7 nights a week. She knows what we're going to ask.
Right.
This guy again.
Brought him again.
What's going on with your guys' device? Buck, have you heard anything yet?
I heard one. Very clear one.
What did you ask?
I hadn't even asked anything yet, but
What were you thinking about asking?
don't even remember thinking about anything.
Did anybody
about-
ask about the president that was the pallbearer recently?
I did.
No, I forgot about that
Who
one.
was the pallbearer for you? Which president was your pallbearer?
Well, I'm trying to prove the point that he already has the answer.
Oh shit! Just kidding. Sorry.
Washington? Wow.
I haven't, it's hard with all the cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know where to point that there's not a car.
Oh, for sure.
Well, it's just a matter of, like, just make sure there's nobody in
Don't
your
put your
car.
cars. Go to his parking lot.
Make sure you're cognizant of the people around you. Like, we're only going to be here another minute or two. 'Cause we're getting enough here to where I can be like, all right, let's get out of this populated area. Let's go somewhere a little bit more.
Got on the name. Mike.
I don't know who Mike is.
You just heard what you said?
He is your
I was trying to think of all of the other things that were going on to see if that would match up to something else that can be scattered all over town. No. No, somebody else heard hit me with your best shot too.
No, I heard Dr.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I did hear the song "Hit Me with Your Best Shot" come through. But
That would make sense. Now that we actually have kind of confirmation.
That's the number 55.
So 55. I didn't write down hit me with your best shot just because I wasn't thinking of something else. That's what she had done. Sure. 55. What are the last 5 words on your word list, by the way?
Last 5. Mike, audition, execute, Luke, uncle.
What?
Luke,
Uncle.
and then uncle.
oh,
Rod, any other numbers?
No. Just small.
Alright, I say we cover the answers because I'm going to probably have dust in my eyes here pretty shortly. So I say we cover the answers. And that way we'll go into a place where it's not as noisy, where you guys can actually listen in. You guys are all getting the gist of this, which is really good. So, here's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about Luke. I'm excited about Uncle. Obviously, one of the signers of the Constitution was Charles Pinckney's nephew, Charles. So, Charles that lived here would have been his uncle. The name Luke is relative to Eliza's maiden name of Lucas. So again, it's vague and it's a stretch, but it's still there. Just kind of cover all the other answers and kind of remind me of like what else was heard. The 55 piece is kind of confusing. It sounds familiar, but I can't put my finger on it.
I did just now get a 22.4, went down to 19, back up to 22.9. Now it's back up to 3.
So as I kind of go through these answers, whenever I break out the tablet, you guys don't need to huddle around. I'll kind of go around the room so everybody can kind of see what all these picture pages are. It kind of just enhances what everything that we're talking about. This is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. So this is the second wife that we discussed. The first wife was Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So the names Lamb and Lucas have shown up in multiple ways, whether through a spirit box, the word list, so forth and so on. This wife, the second one, married Charles when she was 22. He was 45. So you can see where that's kind of a creepy age gap. Again, especially in colonial times. It's a creepy age gap now, but definitely in colonial times. The mansion, which were Buck's questions, this is the only photo of the mansion we actually have. This is exactly where you're standing. This is fire damage from the Great Fire of 1861. So this happened on December 11th of 1861. So 12, 11, and 61 have all shown up, 2 or 3 of those numbers, when we get the words like fire, burning, or blaze. So that kind of gives you an idea. And again, this is the only picture of the mansion that I actually know exists, so take that for what it's worth. Every tour in town is going to tell you about a great fire because we've had dozens of them. This is the fire that took out the mansion. You can see that this is a map of Charleston, and it literally went from one side of the peninsula all the way to the other. This was a giant fire. This is about $5 to $9 million worth of damage in 1861. Don't ask me what that equates to now because inflation changes daily. The children, let's touch on those, even though I asked all of you not to bring them up. I am going to bring them up very briefly on all 4 of them. We did get the number 4 on the word list while we were over at Big John's, just so you guys know. I did see the number 4 on there, correct? So I thought so. That's what I call bleed over. So the next location we go to is what I'm actually expecting. We're not going to be able to spread out like what we're doing here. It's an alley. So we're going to go in there and stir some shit up and go into the next location in hopes for bleed over from that space into the next one on top of that piece of history. But with this one, we could have gotten Pinckney Mansion things from Big John's and Big John stuff over here. So, oh, 55. That makes sense now. You had 55, right? Big John's was established in 1955. That's why that number sounds familiar to me. So, again, I'm excited about that now. Sorry, I get all nerdy and geeked out. By the way, I'm not Zach Bagans. This is me, like, excited, everybody, in case you were wondering. But anyway, the children, 4 of them, grand total. Charles, you already know about, signer of the Constitution. The next child is Thomas, who was shot in the left leg during the Battle of Camden. And I don't that's probably a Get Upside app, am I right? Or Get Upside app commercial. It's like 25 cents off a gallon. Yeah, that happens a lot.
You got that one.
Yeah. So, but anyway, during the Battle of Camden, he was shot in his left leg and captured by the British. When they released him, he was actually left on a cane the rest of his days. Any portrait you find of Thomas after that battle, it's up his right side, he's sitting down, and there's a cane over his lap. He's always hiding his left leg because that's when he was shot in. You can see the kind of things that I get around that with the word shot. I'll be looking for the word left, leg, limp, gimp, anything relative to having a limp in that leg. The next child is the one, by the way, if you have a camera, you might want to go ahead and stop it, give your hand. Maybe they're talking about me.
Yeah,
Cockroach.
let us know.
Where? It
Let us know.
ran past us.
If
Oh, I found the killer.
That's something you might.
Did you hear anything on yours? I know it was very loud over there, so I was worried about you back there.
I've been hearing it like this.
I only just started filming.
What are the last 5 terms?
Pink enforcement on
Who's filming?
grass.
Or
What was the last one?
Like apple core.
There you go, right there.
You said something. What was the first term you said?
Pink.
Pink. And you have the pink and mansion. So again, that pink and loop, the very vague, but they're still there.
I don't know if enforcement or lock have to do with use the grounds.
Oh, is he?
Yes, actually it does.
Context.
So I was actually waiting for the word lock to show. So I'll explain.
Now we go back to the other side.
Footage. I think we're literally going to be the only tour out tonight because I think everybody else is chickened out with the rain. If in the event another tour comes through here, they're going to come through that ivy wall, or they're going to come in the exact way that we did. So what happens then is we just kind of split the seas. I stop talking, we let them pass through, then we continue.
Okay.
So those of you with video cameras, definitely get some footage in here. Brenda's doing, she's all over the place already. I love it. She's YouTubing it up. She's all over it. So we did get something slightly relevant to the last location on the word list again. She had the word key that was spelled out for her on the Ouija board device, and I was waiting for something else. I was like, maybe that's a clue to something else, and I was waiting for the word lock, and she got the word unlock and the word key. The reason why that's somewhat relevant is because Eliza Pinckney was actually involved with the John Locke idea of tabula rasa. So what does that mean? That means that she used to help teach children based on experience, not from a textbook. That's basically what tabula rasa is. It's a John Locke idea, but she worked with John Locke directly to be able to learn about it. So again, and these are how I learn about these things, is through the stuff that you guys are hearing. So I'll take a weird word like lock and Google Eliza Pinckney lock, and it'll come up with these things that I need to know about. So that's basically how everything comes about. So I know we were talking. Did you hear anything along the way? All right, perfect. So you get fit up.
No, there was a giant bug that landed on me.
Oh, okay. Welcome to Charleston. We have lots of those.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know.
All right. So welcome to Philadelphia Alley. Remember, we're only going to basically stay here and kind of stir things up, and then we're going to move on to the next location. So this is actually, we call it Philadelphia Alley now, but it used to be known as Duelers Alley. That's because this is where some of the duels used to occur. So I'm going to looks like we got people coming in from both sides. So we all tell the same story of the same duel because we can prove that it actually happened. So here's how it goes. What I want you specifically looking for on that Ouija board, I need you to reset it to a nice, fresh, clean slate. And then you're going to be looking for the initials RI. And it's going to make sense in one of two ways directly once this go ahead and get started. But anyway, here's how it goes. The doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Those of you using the red spirit boxes, let's go ahead and split the seeds and let these folks come through. Rhode Island would be your first clue for the RI, just so you know. There's another reason. Excuse us, folks. Alright, so, by the way, those of you with the red spirit boxes, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it here all the time. Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd is his full name. Anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married. He doesn't want to take Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. So she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash that she just got. And the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So I'm keeping an eye on this in the room. Coming down here, we're going to stop her there. I think I know the edge. I like the breeze from the gate. That's why we're over here. But anyway, I know, right? So the attorney tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So because he thinks that the doctor's just after Amanda's money. So she says, get rid of him. He comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. So as he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here in Charleston. Somebody was walking by, though. His name was Ralph Isaacs, your second RI. So he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. We were getting the letters RI all the time on the red spirit boxes, so I wanted to make sure it was legit, so I bought this Ouija board device to make sure we were getting legitimate letters, and we've gotten it several times since I've had that device, so take that for what it's worth. But anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, he's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. You can stay with some friends of mine and rent a room, and you'll be safe and good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer, and they became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's money. So, Amanda gets wind, she's moving down so they can get married, and Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. What I will tell you is that every haunted city you will ever visit in the future is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So let's kind of continue moving forward. Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays together, but they cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the way the hierarchy works in Charleston. He has better seats. So, with that said, let's go ahead and put that on mute. I feel like I'm shouting in the background too. But anyway, so one night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and they're walking home talking about the play, and they were arguing over the actress. Ralph didn't think she was so great, but the doctor did. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and they went their separate ways. Now, I've already told you that Ralph has friends around town, so he goes to his friends at the newspaper, he puts an ad in the newspaper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality, kind of a jerk move. The doctor saw the ad and rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley and we're going to settle this once and for all. Keep in mind, this whole argument started over an actress. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend, he just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. So Ralph has his one bullet in his flintlock, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Kind of a jerk move on that end too, right? So the doctor doesn't die, he falls to the ground. His friends pick him up, carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You have to remember that this is 1786. I don't think I told you that yet, but 1786, gunshot wounds were a lot different than what they are now. He refused that medical treatment because he was probably trying to bleed out the lead poisoning from the gunshot wound. So again, he probably didn't feel like he needed a doctor because he was a doctor. Now, every ghost store that comes down here, which is everyone in town, will tell you to listen for the whistles. The nice thing about us right now is we have 3 video cameras running and my voice recorder. If we're going to get a whistle, it's going to show up on one of those 4 items. Not to mention on the spirit boxes, especially the one that's recording, which is you. Sorry, Mike, where are they at? We have gotten the word whistle. We have gotten the word whistle and then the word doctor. Again, we get a lot of weird things in this location. But other people have claimed to have heard gunshots. I have yet, in my 3.5 years, 4 years of coming here, have ever gotten anything relative to hearing a gunshot down here on a voice recording, audio recording from the camera, so forth and so on. They heard the word gunshot.
Oh, okay.
They're saying that they hear actual gunshots.
Right, okay.
So, again, never had anything like that in the past. Now, the other piece of this, always tell people, if you're going to try this on your own and go all the way through the alley, turn on the voice recorders on your phone and listen to it later. I can't take you all the way through because I've been kicked out of here. Let's talk about why, because that's the fun part of the story. So this alley didn't always go all the way through. So there was a wall between, basically it's right where that tour is ending, where you can see the people standing there. There was a wall right there because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. This used to be called Cow Alley. We've gotten the word cow on that word list. I can't tell you.
Shot down.
We'll take that one. That's a bingo. But anyway, that means the bricks on the other side, way down on the end by Queen Street, those bricks down there are older than the ones we're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there and fingerprint swipes and others. When I first started doing this, I used to take my groups all the way through and I'd show off the handprint because I'm sure you guys have already figured out I'm all about history. So I used to show off that this is how far we've come away from slavery, guys. You know,
Right.
It was that kind of point. I also told them, that's the last place you're going to find that kid. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. Nothing's going to happen. We don't need to stand around it and wait. November 26th of 2020, my team did not listen. All 10 people were huddled around that brick with their devices that I handed them, waiting for something to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen, and it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I was just trying to be respectful, not realizing I was actually out of bounds for where tours are allowed to go. Even though I don't like calling this a tour, I still have to follow the tourism laws because we're walking around the city. The new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the tour that night and her dad's getting yelled at. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving simply because I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. I will never work another Thanksgiving in my entire life. I'm sure most of you can empathize. However, the next day I got a hold of my partner that I had at the time, and I basically told him what happened, and he said, dude, you can't go down that far. You're only allowed to go down halfway or reroute the group. So I decided I'm going to reroute the group. But what I told them was I don't believe in the next story. I've never had anything happen there with my gear. And I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So we'll see what happens. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I'm like, okay, maybe we'll see what happens. We get over there, I told them what little bit we did know about pirates because I didn't have a whole lot of time to research. And somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that means. I write it down. The next day I'm researching. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th year anniversary of her pirate trial. Now some of you are shaking your heads like, yeah, that's really cool shit. I was pissed. Let me tell you why. Again, pirate story. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Even when I'm writing my fiction, I still need data and facts to be able to create the story to be as realistic as possible. Even when I'm developing these stories for what we're talking about, even on this route, I still like data and facts. And pirate stories are based off of pirate lore. The problem with pirate lore for me is it was written 100 years after the fact of when it happened. So I've read more books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life. That's what I'm getting down to. Where we're going next, we're going to obviously be discussing Anne Bonny, and we're going to be able to spread out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. We're going to be looking for bleed over from our dueling story, of course, but also from Anne Bonny's tale. We're going to stay out of the way of the other tours while we're over there. We're normally free of cars, so it's usually an open space for us to just work the way we normally work, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of a breeze over there. But the worst case scenario is even if we don't have anything come out of that location, you're going to learn a whole lot about pirates that you've never learned before, simply because Anne Bonny said to be seen all over town. When we got something like he was your king, I think, did you hear that? Somebody heard he was your king? I thought that might be relevant to our Anne Bonny tale, but I was waiting for something else and it never came up. So it's very interesting how that space actually works. But anything that you guys may have seen or heard while we've been standing here before we move on and go talk about rated R pirates? The gate before we leave, let me tell you why we stopped here. There's not a whole lot of people know why this archway is here. Buck, did we come all the way down this way when you came last time?
No.
I think I did it at the end because I was trying to stay clear of the neighbor. Because
Okay.
I've been coming here.
Okay.
And this is the space, by the way, that I'm retiring for next year. Again, every year I change it up. I take out one space and add a new one. So this is going to be retired for 2023. 2024, I'm adding in a murder mystery that we've never solved in Charleston. So again, I change it up every year because I get a lot of repeats, obviously. But anyway, ridiculous. Remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through this way. Anyway, so in the event there was a loser to the duel, they had to be able to get over to the cemetery. This was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of this wall. Otherwise, they'd have to walk all the way down to Queen Street with that dead body, which is obviously dead weight, literally.
I just
And
got Anne.
world. Love it. But anyway, they'd have to go all the way down and then double back with that dead body in order to go drop off the winner before celebrating, with a pint. So this was what I call the death gate because the wrought iron wasn't there, just the archway. So you can the wrought iron was probably put here in the early 1900s, but the archway you can definitely see was part of the original wall.
Right.
I'm excited about the name Anne, even though it's spelled improperly. that thing doesn't care. So.
What did you hear?
The number 75. I'm trying to think if it's relevant to either us here or over there, and I can't think of anything where it's
Just 75.
Interesting. Any numbers coming out of your device, Rod?
No, 0.
All right. Anything else going crazy? Lindsay, you got anything? Or are you focused on me?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
You want to keep your antenna in because you don't want to give it too much. Again, I'm giving you enough with the radio out. So, all right, we're going to get out of this towards way, and we're going to actually exit the way we came in. So we're going to go.
Fight. Well, that was. I think that was fight.
That's bad. That's really bad. Anything being heard or seen? Anything I need to know about?
Does the word impurity mean
We're talking about a kick-ass female pirate. What do you think?
fight? I got fight. I got
Fight.
cow from earlier.
Cow?
Cow. C-O-W.
There you go. We were in the cow alley.
We were in Cow Alley. I'll take it. Holy mackerel. Any numbers? Well, you were on the streets. Brandon, there's another tour over there. Just keep in mind. You can point it the other direction. It's not very good. Slipping down the chute. I don't think we've ever had the word cow spelled out over there. It's usually come up on the word list itself.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
Oh, that got spelled out on the board.
Spelled out. Hardly anything's getting spelled out on the board.
She had the word key earlier.
Yeah, a key on here in cow is the
Yeah,
one
cow
I've
is
gotten so far.
It's definitely relevant to the space. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about cows. All right, so you guys got nothing over there along the way? Okay. All right, so let's talk about why we're here. Every tour that comes through here talks about the same building. We're just going to be looking at it in a much different light because you guys are paranormal investigators for the night and you guys all watch the TV shows. So that building is the Gunpowder magazine. They held gunpowder for 7 different wars, but we're here mainly because those are not crosses on the building, on the front building up there, brother. You're looking at the apartment. So those big crosses down there, those are earthquake bolts. Earthquake bolts, if you're not familiar with them, are basically turnbuckles. If you tighten them after an earthquake, it's supposed to tighten the building back up to make sure it doesn't incur any further damage. So you should already know this because you're from California, and you already know that shit don't work, does it? I didn't think so. So I bring that up every single night because it's kind of a little chuckle, right? But the reason I bring those up specifically is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. It was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. So this is what I call a familiar. You guys have seen the Boo Buddy, right? The little teddy bear that they use on TV with the K2 meter in it and such? Same principle. They use that to attract a child ghost because it's something they would recognize. We are here because that is something Anne Bonny would recognize. So that's why I call this a familiar building. So hopefully she's going to be here at the same time we are because we don't have many buildings in the same time era, but we do have a handful. So hopefully she's going to be here at the same time that we're listening in and trying to make contact. But anyway, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. I have a couple of chuckles. But anyway, that's supposed to be a joke, everybody. So Rod's the only one that chuckles. There we go. Got the chuckles.
I take it seriously.
Okay,
From
Rod.
North Carolina, I mean, it's like
Well, yeah. Okay.
they break ground and then they all go away for 2 years.
And one guy does the work in 12 weeks.
No, there's never a guy there. It's
Never
stones.
It's just stones. So try to follow me on this piece of history because there's a lot of twists with this crazy female. So 1708 is where everything begins, right in the middle of the building's construction. A young lady moves here by the name of Anne Cormack. She comes here from Ireland with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far?
Wow. And
Okay.
the Pirates building.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we haven't gotten to Anne the pirate yet. She's still a young lady. She's a little girl yet. But anyway, the three of them, her father, herself, and the mother, the mistress, are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was the wife that they got booted out of the country to land here? So I'm just going to point that out. Normally, if there's a lot of gentlemen here, I say, be nice to your ladies. They're going to kick you all the way up to Canada. But anyway, they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So Dad bought a plantation up there, and then Mom died pretty quickly. So that means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charleston to sell anything from their plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. So, back home in Ireland, Anne was said to be a badass even back then when she was a little girl. By the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times we've had servant, knife, and belly all show up on 3 different types of communication devices without the other 2 people knowing what was going on. So that's why you guys keep me around for the mediation. But anyway, fast forward a little bit. The building's done in 1713. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne's pretty stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love, so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at this point. So, first guy she falls in love with, I believe there's a carriage tour or something. What time is it? I don't keep track of time. So, but anyway, I really didn't want to go. I was just kind of rhetorical. I don't keep track of time. We just go. But anyway, so the first guy she falls in love with, and yes, I said first guy, is because there's a handful, and that's what makes the story so damn interesting. We're going to cover all of the men that she fell in love with. So first guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going because we've already mentioned her pirate name. So they ran away to Jamaica because Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate, and now Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny. However, when they got down there, she realizes that Bonny is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British, a coward in her eyes. So this isn't who she wants. A few years go by and she falls in love again. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy was. Anyway, Calico Jack has his own ship, and he has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of that crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Thank you for keeping it family friendly. I get a lot of raunchy answers to that, but I figured we got all adults here tonight. We can kind of throw it back out there. I also do that to make sure everybody's paying attention, because this can be a long one. Anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you can be part of the crew. That way you can blend in, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But we're all adults here. Put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. What do you got?
Does everybody know?
Yeah, we're talking about a pirate crew who didn't know she was female. Allegedly. So, yeah, that makes complete sense.
literally just said everybody knows.
Well, there we go. So, but she's eventually going to get pregnant, which means everybody's going to know that she was a female and that Jack let her on the ship. And then they'll vote him off the ship as captain. So before she starts the show, he drops her off in Cuba. We'll have the baby, come back later, we'll figure it out when you get back. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happens to the baby. You can ask all you want to. Again, I just can't prove that what you're getting is a legitimate answer. But anyway, she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry, because now everybody's going to know that he let a girl on a crew. So she's going to go down below deck to go flirt with the pirate crew that he just captured to make him even more mad, because that's who Anne Bonny is. She's a delight to have. But anyway, the young man that she's about to flirt with, we're on guy number 3 in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured.
Wow.
So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure. But the British find out where they are, and they send a whole fleet of ships to come take down one little tiny pirate ship. Anne and Mary, the rumor is they were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks, because they haven't been pirates for very long and they don't know how to use the cannons. 2 ladies with flintlocks against a whole navy of ships is not going to work out. So they get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." We get the word dog here all the time, just so you know. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front, they reveal their gender, and he doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still going to hang them. They're still pirates. "We plead our bellies," is the last thing they shouted, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging, but Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money, because he was an attorney back home. He bails out Anne alone, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. It's very abrupt because we don't know much about her after her pirate career. Some rumors say she stayed right here in South Carolina. Others say she went up to Virginia. I can't tell you how many different versions of this story I've actually read to kind of come up with what I just told you. Mary Read dies 5 months later in April of 1721 from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Most books would tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say we're talking pirates. Let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Let's make it bumpy and gross, right? So here's what I left out of the story. I'm not going to assign questions. You guys ask whatever you want to here. This is not a prominent English woman that you need to tiptoe around. So again, you might actually have to poke the bear in this location to get the answers we need. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents and their names. You can ask what their names were. I left out the name of Calico Jack's ship, the name of that, on purpose. I left out the name of the city where Anne Bonny grew up in Ireland on purpose. I also left out the name of Anne Bonny's hair color on purpose, which is red. That's an easy one. That's a one syllable, which you may very well get on your Ouija board. So we've gotten it on that in the past. Everything else is fair game. As long as you ask questions that are not yes/no answers and you get a relevant answer, I might be able to prove it. So we're down to, looks like these people are about to leave over here, so we're down to about 5 cars in this location. But we are going to spread out, and just keep in mind other tours do come through here, so just don't film them and stay out of their way. Let them tell their piece of the Gunpowder magazine and let them move on. We're actually out here working. So I'm actually going to head over towards that wall and get some water and a smoke and let you guys go to work. That's how this works. You guys paid me to go to work.
She was working and traveling.
He's done it twice. So
She was working and traveling.
She was working and traveling.
and that's right, just so you know, I don't expect a whole lot out of here. So anything out over 2.5 in the back half is where I get excited. By the front half, I have 2 electrical poles, and then the parking meters on the other side of the building. So 2.5 and higher back here will be super soaked. We actually had some high readings here last week. I was really surprised. Look at you remembering just to keep it on the left side.
What temperature was it again though? Like 72?
60 something.
Oh, yeah, I haven't even hit anywhere close to that. Gay pirate? Are you there, gay pirate? Are you gay? You can't ask yes or no.
What was your gay lover's name?
What?
Gay rights. What was your gay lover's name? What are your parents' names? What was your gay lover's name? What are your parents' names? Gay. Did you do that with Mary?
I'm not getting anything clear.
All right, you two, what do you got? Anything yet?
Right when we were like breaking off, I got, she worked and traveled.
Yeah.
She worked and traveled. I liked it.
I thought I heard the name Zach while you were talking, but I don't know.
Zach Bagans is with us.
Because I had it lower.
We are next to a cemetery, so when you guys get like names that I'm like, I can't affiliate with piracy in any way, I still look into the cemetery records to see if anything ties together. Like, she has the name Taylor on hers, so I'm going to write down the fact that you have Zach and see if there's a Zach Taylor that's buried there. She worked and traveled. I like it.
Does down in Georgia mean anything to you?
Sure, Savannah would have been a stop at some point.
Please don't stop.
We often hear girls just want to have fun here, so that's another, like a little pun.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Between Mary and Ann. That's a pretty common thing.
Girls do just want to have fun. What? Girls just want to have fun.
She was like my bestie back home before my first marriage.
Ask a question. Ask a question.
And it was the weirdest thing. I handed him his paint, and he stopped and stared at me, and I was like,
How long did you cross-dress for?
oh, that's fucking dark. Like, I'm sorry. And I was wearing that face and looking at you like that. Like, oh, sorry.
What's your girlfriend's name?
I was trying to see some of your ink here.
Oh,
Every time I don't want you to think I'm like staring at your legs or anything, but
I'm used to it.
it all looks relatively new, like within the past 2 years. Is that
No, I just had a real, well, like,
Some of it.
Yeah,
You were getting
some.
tattoos for a minute. Like,
A lot of it, though, is
over, how long have you been getting tattoos? You've been getting them for like the last 5-6 years?
Yeah. I lost my tattoo artist when I moved to Charlotte because she's in New York. So it's really hard to find a good one.
Actually, I have a good handful down here. I haven't had any tattoos down here. All my tats are from up north. Like, I haven't had a tattoo in forever because it is so expensive down here.
Really?
It's super
I didn't
expensive.
even-
For what I was getting, up
Oh,
there. I mean, I've got 8 tattoos, and I was getting like a buy one get one kind of thing. So I'd get like 2 in one day. Like, just do them, man.
Yeah.
Like, opposite sides of the body, let's do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I have a full back piece that I want done, but everywhere down here is going to charge me like $5,000.
Yeah,
That's
it's insane.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, I feel like tattoos in general have just gotten so outrageous. Like, I mean, even like micro tattoos, people are charging $100 for these, like,
Yep.
I'm not getting anything drop below like 85, 83.
On your temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's not always a real-time camera. Just like the one that Kim's using.
Oh, really?
Danny
with
had a
these two in-
stroke.
I don't follow up with these 2 in real time simply because it's not always a real-time moment. It's
Okay.
about the review the next day. And I give you raw video. Like, I'm not adding anything to it. I just splice them all together, slap my logo on it, and I give it off to you guys.
Sean Paul.
Nothing. I'm getting nothing. Oh. Can I listen again? I like listening.
Hold on. It's easier to hear with
I
both.
know, but I like to listen.
My feet are swollen.
Chuck, you got anything?
No, she thought she heard this thing say all. I don't know if that would mean anything or not. I heard the sound, but I didn't hear
So
all.
what do you
Those
got
are
on your?
word
You have the
lists.
thermal,
You got anything
right?
else on there?
Yes.
You got
I
anything
haven't
cool?
really
Word
seen
list.
anything drop under like
Have
80.
you tried looking in the
Cool.
windows?
That's 5.
The
Is
windows
that
are always seemingly
routine?
colder, so it does go to them, but nothing like crazy
Collaboration
low.
and stance.
Well, because if you get like a heat signature in a window, that would be wild.
Well, it's not going to be in the window. The problem with the thermal imaging camera is it only reads surface temperatures. The glass is always going to be colder. It cannot see through it.
That would, yeah, that makes sense.
Believe it or
'cause
not, that
if
was
it
the
goes
reason
up, it
why I
goes.
bought that camera was because one of the locations I had at the beginning of this was because there used to be a swinging man inside the window. So I was like, oh, let me get a thermal. And then I started researching on how to read the thermal. It doesn't see through glass.
Interesting. Okay.
But if we were to get like a cold signature across something, we would actually have it. But we're not going to see like the full man being hung from the rafters through the window. Like that's just not going to work.
You didn't tell us how she died, did you?
I don't even know.
Okay.
There's no solid piece that says Anne Bonny died this way. Nobody even knows where the hell she's buried because she changed her name after she left piracy. So we don't even know where the hell she's buried. We honestly don't know much about her after her pirate career, other than how bad she was during the pirate career.
Do we know if she actually was pregnant when she was like, I claimed the belly?
Yeah.
No?
No clue.
Because I'm over here asking, like, how many seen daughters?
I usually tell people that I cleaned my belly was usually a falsehood. So you can count that there was one baby in Cuba, and we don't know if that baby lived or died or was passed on, or plus the 4 that she had after she left piracy. So she had a total of 5 kids. So I usually tell people don't count the I cleaned my belly piece because we can't verify anything.
Yeah.
I don't even know where she had 4 children afterwards came from. I've just read it so many times that I was kind of like, there's got to be some kind of truth to it. Nothing coming out of yours at all, huh?
No, you're hearing it.
Yep, pretty dead. No pun intended.
Like I said, class 3. Zach.
Yeah, Zach Bagan's bullshit, mumbles and grumbles.
Everything is demonic to have you, right?
Yeah.
I was watching a new episode because I like to make fun of it. Like my fiance and I just like love to rag on it. And he was interviewing
That song of like big booty goes down like this.
Guys,
I think it was
But I'm sensitive.
Oh. She.
Calm down, dude. I'm sure it's
I don't
gonna
know.
be again.
Go off, King.
Do you not know?
Why are you watching that?
Exactly.
Where are you buried?
Nothing. Rod, anything?
I did not drink my dinner.
Does Dominic need anything?
I got
I don't know.
I got nothing in the back half,
Okay.
but from the front
What's your girlfriend saying?
forward, it hovered around one to
Ask me a
two.
question.
So I got to the front and it was 555 around where the closing sign was over. But I saw there's a telephone box
Yeah.
or something around there close.
London? I heard London too.
London?
I heard London. I did ask where she was buried. I don't know why it would be London, but
She's from.
Ireland. Ireland. Not
I've been
London.
asking about Ireland the entire time, just hoping to get something.
You know, what's funny is I want to say London showed up here 2, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Really?
That's my daughter's name.
Oh.
When she's here in town, because she lives in Myrtle Beach, she's normally on the tours with us, like helping out with all of the devices.
Oh, okay.
So it might almost be like they're like, "Where's London?" kind of mentality.
Oh, wow.
You get any interactions just like for you.
My name shows up all the
specifically?
time,
Like, hey,
especially in
Betty.
the
Does it ever tell your guests their names?
A lot of times, if there's a similar name, like for example, if there was an Eliza in the group who were back there, they're probably going to make some type of connection. So again, as long as they introduce themselves as having the same name, it's usually the connections will be fine. Nobody in the group here tonight actually has a relevant name to anywhere where we're going.
I just heard treasures.
Nice.
Oh, pirate?
Pirate treasures.
That's cute.
Hardcore.
Yeah,
I'm digging for treasures. Brenda, anything crazy that you saw?
We had some over there, but then we started looking at it, and I think it was picking up like shadows and
Maybe
turning
around
them
the
out.
edge of the
Yep.
building.
It'll pick up because there's an absence of light on your shadow. So it looks like it's something in front of someone else.
Well, it sounded like it said Paul.
Yeah, while
Yeah,
we were
I
looking
wrote
at
down
it.
Paul.
But that's when she was over there, and it was on top of this corner of the front wall, the near corner. And it wasn't really a full stick figure, but it was in and out.
And that's what almost like what you want, is it to be a little sketchy. Something there.
Yeah, but I'm not
Yeah, so quick.
understanding.
Quick. I missed it because I was talking.
And it doesn't record.
Nope. That's why you're standing next to me with the voice recorder. So hopefully it'll show up on that. And it's on its slowest mode. So you know.
Here, Paul, here,
We just send her off by herself. It's no big deal. We're not a TV show, right?
Oh, that's cute.
Chelsea, anything?
She's locked in.
Usher keeps coming on.
Alright, let's go back to the back. We'll wrap this one up because, again, I don't like to linger when things aren't starting to come through properly. So, a couple things about this particular space. This is kind of, if you have a camera and you want to go ahead and give your hands a break, by all means do so. Let's get Buck on mute. Thank you.
Originally, I'm from California, yeah.
Oh, we just came from San Diego.
Oh, okay. Visiting?
Yeah.
I'm from Orange County.
Oh, nearby. That's cool.
Yeah.
You guys talk about counties out there in California. We don't do that here.
No.
Alright, have a seat. Lindsay,
Yes.
have a seat.
Alrighty.
Wait for everybody to come in.
Figure out if I can do anything.
Go ahead and you have the recording one?
Yeah.
Keep your earbuds. So turn your volume down. Just go unplug. Opposite way. There you go. So I need your spirit box because it's not recording. We're going to record a whole separate session. And you're going to plug in your earbuds into this guy.
You caught up.
Plug in right there.
Oh, did you? Neat. You tell him about it.
Alright, so here's how this is going to work. First thing I'm going to ask both of you is to not put on any gear until we come back over. When I start blindfolding women in the middle of a dark park, it never looks good. So other tours do cut through here, so just hang on to that. These will be your noise canceling headphones, Lindsay. Somebody from your party may help you put them on. once you're blindfolded, because they put them on after you're blindfolded. So I'll give you a disposable blindfold. I do not want it back because eye boogers are also gross.
Yep.
So that's why I buy them in bulk. So the way this guy works, it will not wrap all the way around your head. It's almost like a Batman mask.
Okay.
So when you open it up, if you can't figure it out, it's fine. I'll come back and help you. But there's it's two plies. So you lift up on where the nose piece is, and it'll create a full circle. And then you just rip on the thinner part, and it'll open it to a fold. And then it just goes over your ears. And then it'll be one fold that way. So if you can't figure it out, just hang on to it. I just do that. Obviously, I'll be giving. I have to set up my phone when we come back. But here's what's going to happen. Like, you guys are going to sit here and be besties for 5 minutes. I'm going to take everybody else over there by that monument, and then we're going to go learn about the history for 5 minutes because it's very brief. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to you as if you were the ghost, and you're going to tell us everything the ghost is creating for you through the visual pieces. Yeah, kind of an interesting piece. I will tell you that this whole experiment with both the VR and the earpiece is supposed to be one person.
Right.
I actually had to pull a girl out last week because she started hyperventilating. So again, this can be very disorienting. When I come back, I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks of what to expect, and basically the taps of what everything's going to mean on your end, because there's going to be different things that we're going to have to communicate in some way, shape, or form with you, just so you know. But again, I'm going to have to give you a few tips and tricks of what to expect, because this can be a little much for certain people. So just kind of keep that in mind. Do you guys sit here and keep an eye on my bag so I don't have to wear an extra layer of clothing for 5 minutes? Oh, actually, no, I need it because I need the voice recorder. So never mind. We did that last week and I screwed that all up. Then they didn't have the history later on. All right, let's go learn the history of the space. And what are you doing? You moving in?
Yes.
She just drops all her stuff like she just got here. Alright. So, is that what it said? Boss? Let's go ahead and get you on mute again. Okay, so here's how this is going to work when we get over there. We're going to stay over, like, pretty tight to them. I don't like other tours to walk by and see, like, what's going on. Again, they'll be stealing my ideas, first off, and I'm blindfolding 2 women in the middle of a dark park with a bunch of strangers. So we're going to stay in pretty tight around them. So Kim, you're going to be basically our focal point of camera, like you're going to be front and center, because they're going to want to know what happened, and yours gives us the best footage for that later on, because there's nothing interrupting it with the stick men in the way, and obviously with the thermal, it's going to be hard to see for them. So the first time I came in here, I had no idea what we were going to find. I mean, there's a lot of monuments in here, and I knew that other tours came in here all the time, so I was like, let me see what the big thing is. So every November is usually when I start looking at other new locations, but I only had 2 people that night because it was cold and everybody else canceled. So we came in, and the young lady using the spirit box actually heard the name Henry and the year 1828, very specific year, right? I was using the digital word list that Christina has, and I had the name Tim that showed up on my word list around the same time. This bust is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. So I went, well, holy shit, there's my ghost. Check it out. So here's how his history goes. 2 things you need to know about him is he was a writer, first off, and he was sick through most of his life. Being born in 1828, he's obviously old enough to go fight in the Civil War for the Confederates. So he goes out to fight, but his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. They sent him home, knowing he was a writer, and said, go be the voice of the war. They wanted him to write about what was going on the battlefield. He comes home to Charleston, he starts writing poetry. He becomes known as the laureate of the Confederacy. So that's a pretty prestigious title for us writers, just so you know. Right. Anyway, 2 years go by, and he has a son. The son's name is Willie. He's born on Christmas Eve, and he dies 9 months later. That's obviously a tragedy for Henry and his wife, Kate. So a few more years go by, and Henry's not writing as much as what he's supposed to. His friend Paul realizes this. He was his college friend, right? Because we had the name Paul earlier. And he says, you know what, dude, come out to my cottage in Columbia, and yeah, you know you're on a cheesy tour when they clap at the end. Did I say that out loud? I did. I'm so sorry. But anyway, go to my cottage, work on the piece you're supposed to, and get you back up the track. He goes out there, and that's where he writes his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality. Person of short life is the translation. Then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. Now, here's the weird thing. The tuberculosis stain on that page looks like a man writing at his desk. Yeah. kind of a good creepy way to end our night, right? So here's what I'm going to tell you. They show this book one day a year on Halloween at the Charleston Library Society. One day a year, that's it. And you got to be a member of the society to be able to go see it. However, the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what the page looks like, and then we're going to go blindfold some folks and see what we can actually get out of them. Again, I told you, very short, very simple. But again, looking at the picture kind of gives you the full gambit of what this actually looks like. Here's the last page that he wrote. And it looks just like the man writing at his desk. So you can even see, I'll zoom in on that blood stain for you. To me, the page tells the whole story because person of short life, cough, cough, death, lands right on the page. And he leaves his mark forever.
No, that was it? He died right there?
He died right there on the page. He was found later. So, this is called the Blood Book. So, you guys may see where I'm asking real-time questions like, hey, what's coming out of the church? Am I wearing a gray shirt? Like, you're going to see me just try to get some evidence that we have somebody with us. But the whole gist is that we're going to get some more clues like we've been gathering all night long. Although they don't know a damn thing about what I just told you. So, let's go have some fun with this, and let's see what we can get out of it. Were they walking? Okay. There is said to be seen a Civil War hero in there. I've never found anything. You have something.
Well, on our work tour, they told us
It's like gonna be.
where the mass grave is.
You're good.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's been seen in a woman. I forget whether, Rod, do you remember what the woman's name was? And
I don't remember anything.
her sons had, she was there, her sons had been buried in there. And
I
she
just don't
went
know,
there
like, you know, I get motion
weeping.
sickness. So
Yeah.
it looks
The
weird.
weeping
Don't
look at me, I'm a
ghost.
No, I know.
And, but she's
Maybe the weeping
clearly
bride.
been seen a couple times as a spirit.
White men make
Above
us talk to everybody, but it's driving me up a wall.
I know I've gotten things in there from somebody else. No Civil War era, anything.
Well, this was the yellow plague,
Everything I said.
You see anything in there
yellow
yet?
fever.
Yeah, because my phone's not in there yet.
Well, oh, okay. I was like very confused. I was like, because I get like motion sickness, so I was like, this looks like crazy in here, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's gonna look crazy. All right, so nothing on yet. Hang on. You need instructions. I know you're eager. So first off, we're only gonna keep you guys under for 10 minutes. More than that, you get a little too disoriented. When we're done, you're gonna get a tap on the leg. You're gonna be able to hear us, and I'll say, Chelsea, take your beer off. Somebody from your party is gonna tap you on the leg. I'm never gonna touch you, just so you know.
Okay, Christina, let's not touch her. We can just leave her here.
Oh, screw
No,
you.
I should have all my
keys,
gear. That's not
so-
working out for me at all. So, if you are too loud, somebody is going to be standing behind you. It's probably going to be Christina, because she's not going to be filming. Sorry. It's filming.
That's fair.
So she's going to stand behind you. If you're too loud, she's going to tap you on the shoulder. It means quiet down a little bit. Now, if you are not loud enough, she may lift up your earmuff and say, you can give us a little more, or louder, or
If
something.
I'm too loud, right shoulder. If I need to speak louder, or if I need to
Like
speak
how she
louder.
changes all my rules? Is this how she always is?
I'm trying to.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just lift up the earmuff. It's usually the best way.
I think I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna get this mixed up immediately.
Okay.
Let's see here. So I'm gonna take, like, we're not gonna use the Ouija board.
Okay. Cool.
Definitely keep an eye on the right one.
All right.
We've had things come up. I think how am I gonna do this? Yeah, I think you should be okay with tapping her and
Yeah,
using
I
those.
can. Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to literally tell us everything you're hearing. You don't know what questions I'm asking, so it's okay to answer in yes/no questions.
Okay.
So if you hear the words yes or no, I might ask, am I wearing a gray shirt? And I'm expecting an answer. Keep in mind, you have no idea what I'm asking.
Okay.
Once you get a volume on your spirit box, which I don't know what's going on with it. It's on, looks like load right now.
I guess.
You must have tapped something
I
by accident.
didn't touch this.
Um,
I was trying to figure these out.
you are not going to touch your spirit box to make sure we know you're not cheating. if
For
that
sure.
makes sense.
Okay.
I've had teenagers like turn the volume down and fiddle around with it, and we can tell every single time.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
No, I was telling her, like, I have seen this done, and I'm a little skeptical of it myself, so I want to
It either goes really
basically
well
get
or really
proof.
bad.
Okay.
And when I say bad, it just means nothing happens.
Okay. Either way, I want to find out for myself, so I'm very
I
curious.
don't blame you.
So
And it's doing it
excited.
again. I'm wondering if you can maybe just messing with it. I'm going to grab the other one.
Okay.
Yes, no answers are okay, just so you know, because you don't know what I'm asking.
Okay.
And I think that about covers it for you. Once you put the earmuffs on, you're good to go. I'm going to time it for 10 minutes. As far as yours goes, I'm going to walk you through it. It's very simple. You're going to see black smoke. That's the ambient part of it, so you don't fall asleep. You're going to tell us everything that's not black smoke. You're going to see images being created right in front of your eyes. It's not going to be like in your face. It's just going to be an image over top of the smoke. So don't expect any ghost to come running straight up to you and that kind of mentality. That's just not what happens. A lot of people expect that, and it's just not the way it goes.
That's what you need, right? Because
Yeah, no, I'm alright. I'm cool with not
for you,
seeing
it is
no ghosts
blindfold
today.
first,
Like,
then earbuds, then noise canceling
speak
headphones.
through the music, and I'm chill.
But definitely, I'm going to put your volume up just a little bit, just so you have a little bit to work with. So Christine, you may also have to help her with the noise canceling headphones.
Sure,
I'm going to get your
Yeah, I'm gonna-
VR set up.
Yes, thank you. I was
No
trying to
problem.
figure out what the hand thing. Right behind you.
Okay. Is there like a left or right to these, or does it matter?
Nope.
Okay.
They're a quarter. I'm pretty sure there's no left and right. I buy them in bulk. They cost me about a quarter a piece.
as long as they make noise, you're good.
That's right.
Are you going to turn this up at all, or will it be easier to hear with the noise canceling?
We'll turn it up for you. Yeah, because I want to make sure you cannot hear me.
Okay.
I'm going to have to walk you through this. Go ahead and get that over the top of your head. Everything's been sanitized, just so you know. And you're going to tell me generally when it's too loud. Just give me the hands up.
Perfect.
Okay? Noise canceling headphones. These are going to go over.
Yes.
You're gonna hold on to this for me for a second.
All right, so Chelsea, you're going to look down for the ready button.
Okay.
Did you get it? Okay, so hold it there until the circle goes all the way across, and then you're going to have 3 dots along the bottom. You want the one on the left that says Seer Session? Perfect. And you should start seeing images in a minute now. You may get 1 to 4 images. You've got it all the way up to 7. All right, guys, we're going to huddle around nice and tight. Kim, you're
Can you
recording,
turn
so
up the... I can still hear like mumbling. I think you might need to turn it up a little bit. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Down.
Good.
All right, it is 11:14, and we are ready to go.
You want this?
And we want to leave that on mute. So let's hand over the Ouija board. So he has something that he can work with. Keep an eye on that. So Lindsay, you cannot hear me at all. Good. Chelsea can obviously hear us. Okay. All right. So we are looking for Henry Timrod to come through. I have 2 young ladies sitting here on the bench.
Christina. Yes? Hold on. Yes? Can you turn it up a little bit?
Can you turn it up a little
Yeah.
bit?
Henry, if you are here, I need you to tell me
Much better.
what just came out of the church. What sound did we just hear? Keep an eye on that word list. We've had the word come up in there and on the Ouija board.
Is that telling me something just hit the
The
board?
bottom row is what you're looking for on yours.
It's changing like tile by tile.
Henry Timrod, please tell us what sound we hear out of the church, please. Christina, lift up her earmuff and let her know she's supposed to be telling us everything in real time.
We want you to tell us everything in real time.
What?
We want
What?
we want you to tell us everything in real time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, let me get this back. Okay.
Henry Timrod, I'm going to ask you one more time, now that we have everything straight.
Tell them everything.
Wow. Neat.
Henry, what sound do we get out of the church? So here, if we can huddle in a little bit
Oh,
more.
sorry.
Yeah, I don't like bystanders to see what the hell we got going on.
It's a baby.
Oh, we going straight into that? Okay, Henry. Can you tell us the name of your son? Or how
$5 million.
Nice.
Like I said, really bad. Henry, how old was your son when he passed away? Chelsea, anything?
I'm assuming it'll be very obvious if I see something.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
very.
Marry
No.
me.
wedding.
Why? There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
He hates crowds. I'm
Me
just going to
too.
point that out right now. Put that back on mute for me.
I didn't touch it.
Yeah, you hit a button on the front.
Oh.
Henry, we got a lot going on here, even though you just told us that. So I understand if there's a lot of people nearby, but you know how Saturday nights work here in Charleston.
Less than me.
Let's get right into it. We could use more details about your son. I normally don't go straight into this with you, but
Play. Sacrifice.
can you tell us more about your son? Maybe his name, his birthday, how old he was, anything to prove that you're here? We'll take any of the numbers from his birth date. Remember, everybody, that was Christmas Eve of 1865.
Ooh.
Okay. Do we have anybody else here with us that would like to talk? Since Henry doesn't want to talk to us right now? Or if Henry, if you're still here, I'm willing to change the subject.